Now the election back and I'll die away. In short, this is what I have to say. Let us forget spites and grudges and concentrate. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say,
yes, indeed, I want to welcome you to the Hub. Again, another opportunity for we the people to engage in a meaningful, robust intellectual conversation via radio and social media. I want to encourage the fans of the program on Facebook to share the live. Those on YouTube do the same. Radio, again, I want to thank all the folks who continue to tell others about the program. So I want to encourage you to please share the live. I want to start off by saying to those on Facebook, not all the programs will be uploaded on Facebook, but you can get it on YouTube. So not all the programs will be uploaded on Facebook. So yes, you may have shared the program and you may see something pop up on your live feed on your page. All you need to do is to just, delete that and move on. Not all the programs will be uploaded on Facebook, but you can find it on YouTube. Vision Information Services, all the programs, they're uploaded there. Because some of those programs on Facebook do not fall in line with Facebook's policy. So content and otherwise. So some adjustments will be made there. Also, not every town hall meeting we will be capturing or bringing. There are some national town hall meetings. Once the Prime Minister is there and it's a national town hall style meeting, then we will bring it, right? But there are some meetings within different constituencies that will not be carried from my end, right? It's really for the communities and the constituencies there. So I will promote it. So Philip Tellisford had his town hall style meeting last night. I didn't bring it. Tonight, Ron Reddit, he's having his. I'm not bringing that. All right. And there are other town hall style meetings. I don't have to bring these meetings. They're really for the consumption of the people in that constituency, in that area. So you're free to be a part of that. You're free to go to those town hall style meetings. All right. I'll just promote it. I'll just push it so people can know that it's on. Let's move straight into it. By now, you may have heard that the government signed an agreement with the Grenada Union of Teachers. That is a very historic one where they will get between now and 2025, 13% increase in their salaries and also fringe benefits. So deputy principals, they would get what they should have gotten long, allowances and so on. Teachers who mark in papers and so on, they would get something and a number of other things. So quite a bit is happening for the teachers and those in that area. But it's not surprising because when the government came into power, when the NDC came into power and formed the government, they made good on the promise of repaying the doc salaries that the NNP took from the salaries of teachers. They removed that, but the NDC gave them back. And some in the NNP camp say, well, the court ruled against a teacher or teachers in that regard. Why did the government do it? Well, the government did it prudently so because they wanted to start off on a good note, one, and ensure that there is a good relationship, a good environment existing in the classrooms, on the different campuses, or as we say, school grounds, school compound, between teachers, students, and also the government, the Ministry of Education, and so on. You want a harmonious relationship. You want a good relationship to exist within that grouping, within that sector, within that space. So that's really a good thing. And then we saw the protest with TAMCC and all the workers there. The government stepped in and they paid them $4 million. They entered into an agreement to pay the balance, I think, 6 or 7 or 8 million or so dollars over a period of time. So the government is serious about education. And not only that, the government wants a good industrial climate in the country. And so far, they're doing well. Those in the NNP camp always say, well, when NDC in power, the unions are not quick to strike, or you don't see protests and strike actions and demonstrations and all these different things, right? At the end of the day, folks, I am saying it's kind of clear. This government is pro worker. They're for the workers, right? And folks, under the live, if you come on the live to be a part of the program, be a part of the program, right? The people who want to be a part of, who are a part or who live in the St. Paul's area, the Mardi Gras area, the Good Hope area, and they want to tune in and be a part of the town hall style meeting, they are free to do so. So try not to come on the live and as though you're advertising or promoting. I advertised the meeting. I promoted the meeting, right? So I'm saying if the folks from this area who are accustomed being on the live and they want to be there listening in, that's a great thing. Nothing wrong with that. We're not competing here, right? So I hate the fact that you come under the live to promote other things that are happening. If they wanted to be a part of that live, they could have been a part of it, right? Come on. So let me go straight into playing a piece of that press conference from this morning.
President, Mr. Bartholomew, thank you so much for being here. Mr. Antwine, good morning to our team members, government negotiating team, and to the Grenada Union of Teachers. We are grateful and we are so pleased to be here this morning on this juncture. Having started this journey a few months ago, while we would have expected or we anticipated we would have ended the journey a little time before now, we are yet still very happy to be at this juncture. We still feel pleased that we are able to make the bi-monthly payments in April, so it still meets a milestone that we probably didn't even anticipate before. But we want to just express our heartfelt appreciation for the spirit of the negotiations. In our view, we thought it went extremely cordial. While we would have had some frank and, discussions, we know how negotiations can be. And so we expected all of that. And we are grateful that we come to this conclusion at the end where we would be able to meet what it is that we're obligated to do. And we know fully well that both sides have the same interest. We are interested in the betterment of our workers, mindful of the fact that our workers are the valued asset to be able to realize the government's transformation agenda. So we are really eternally grateful to be at this point where we can sign our agreement. And so we just want to express thank you to the Grenada Union of Teachers, and we also want to say thanks to our team. And we look forward to us continuing our cordial relationships as we keep our industrial climate safe and happy in Grenada. So on that note, we say thank you, and we are pleased to be at this point to sign.
Thank you very much, P.S. Marshall. I would like to now invite our President or President General of the Grenada Union of Teachers, Mr. Jude Bartholomew, to make some remarks.
The Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Prime Minister, the Chairman of the Government Negotiating Team, Brother Borden Antoine, and his devoted and committed staff supporting team. I greet you here with joy this morning. The members of the Grenada Union of Teachers negotiating team. It was a formidable team, but a team well put together and well coordinated, well executed. So I recognize here our devoted and caring General Secretary and Brother Franklin Marshall, and the supporting members of the cast behind the scene who may not have seen. But today, like the scripture says, this is the day that the Lord has made, and rejoice and be glad in it. And I just want to put on record here, because the negotiation really started in earnest in December. And historically, the Grenada Union of Teachers and other unions most of the times had to, march on the streets, go through the labor commissioner process, through mediation and other things for salary increase. And we note this time on record, or place on record here, is a historic moment that we should appreciate and recognize. We may not have gotten, and you'll never be able to get all that you really want and you hope to. But at the same time, when you come together and such, we come to a common understanding, and we think that we're at a very good place. And at this time, when the government of Grenada would have, paid pension, deduct salary, 23% for TAMCC who haven't been paid for a long period of time, and recognizing all the different things that the government is doing for workers. We just want to show some praise and appreciation to the Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his administration for really and truly giving us 13%, at this time, and we are grateful. And not only 13%, but the GOT historically is on record for its fringe benefit. We don't leave our fringe benefit behind, and I think really and truly we could go on record to saying at least that we are really, really happy in the type of probably fringe benefits that we were really able to secure for the time being. Again, we'll not settle for that yet. We're going to go sometime for more, but for the time being, it has been great. So I just want to say thank you very much.
Historically, under the NNP, it always was some kind of bacchanal, some kind of struggle, some kind of fight, some kind of back and forth. All right, but it's very good to see that they are no longer on that path. They're doing what is right for the workers, and I'm really, really impressed with what I am seeing. So he always comes across as a very sincere, genuine person, and I am happy that he's the leader of that union, and he's getting stuff, he's achieving stuff, and that is significant. So they're able now to easily do their work. And he note there the doc salaries were paid, pensioners, a lot of teachers who retired, they got their retroactive pension and gratuity. They continue to get their pension until they die. They would be getting that. Also, he spoke about fringe benefits. They were not getting that too. He spoke about TAMCC and the amount of money that was paid. I think 23% or so were actually paid. 4 point something million was paid to them, and they will be getting the others over a period of time that they agreed upon. So a lot of things are happening for the teachers and the folks within education in the country. And we hope that the other unions can follow suit, because the Public Workers Union, they're also negotiating, and we hope that they can, look at Jude Bartholomew as a good example and his team and what they were able to accomplish without protesting, without striking, without demonstrating, without all the stupidness, because you're dealing with a government that's pro-worker. We know that they're near in completion with negotiation with the police and prisons and so on. Since 1990 something, police have not received anything, really and truly. But this administration, they're serious about making good on bringing up the salary to the scale that it's supposed to be at, improving the standard of living generally. I'm really, really happy to see what's going on there.
And at the same time, I just want to say to our members outside there, we know our commitment as teachers to really and truly just want to call on our members to step up on the productivity level and everything, because yes, it's one thing to get salary increases and all those things, but the monies come from the states. And while we get the resources and we get salary increases and other things, it is responsible of us to really call on our members and all public servants and Grenada Carrick Company Martinique to just work together to develop our child and state, and the commitment of the Grenada Union of Teachers and teachers and everybody for the development of our young people in education and transformation. And so I just want to thank you very much. This is a good day.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Bartholomew. Now, this morning, we did not anticipate the Prime Minister being here, but like he said, he just came to support. But we cannot let you leave so without giving some remarks. So I invite you now, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, to give some remarks.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Abby. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, I'm crashing the party a little, but I thought I owed it first to the teachers of the nation and to their representative, the Grenada Union of Teachers, to attend this morning's signing ceremony to say thank you, I think, first for taking care of our students and by extension all of our citizens, because at the end of the day, you know, having a formal education system is a foundation to a civilized society. It's a foundation to our growth development. And in the absence of teachers, that simply cannot happen. So the signing ceremony aside, the salary increases and fringe benefits aside, I think it's a fundamental function that teachers play in our role. And no amount of money, no amount of fringe benefits can truly show the appreciation for that. So I think, having benefited personally from teachers, one of whom is here, I have a personal duty to always make sure that we defend. We may not always agree, and that's part of a healthy democracy. That's part of education itself, having differences of opinions, but that we certainly defend and support our teachers. So I wanted to come in person to say thank you to the teachers and to the Grenada Union of Teachers. I think for a couple of things. First, for the spirit in which the negotiations have been conducted, and I will come to the government negotiating team shortly. But I think, obviously, as the President General said, too often, I think our industrial climate is characterized by strife. And we have to get to the point where we can have healthy differences, we can debate, we can disagree, but we have to find a way where we recognize that the teachers are the members of the GUT, but the teachers are ultimately our staff. They're the staff of the state, and so we have an obligation to look out for them and to try and be as fair as we can for them. I certainly always wish we can give more. And if the GDP grows, if the resources grows, then certainly the teachers and all workers have my own commitment, and I think the commitment of the government, to be as fair as we can, bearing in mind that all resources are finite. So I think the spirit in which the negotiations were conducted was critical, and I think that led to the fact that the parties could have sat around the table and negotiated and come to an agreement themselves, without having to call upon the Labour Commissioner or without having to resort to any type of industrial action. And in that sense, I want to thank and praise the GUT for showing, I think, leadership within the industrial sector as to how to go about conducting its business. And so I certainly want to place on record my thanks and appreciation for them being the first union to settle and come to terms with the state on this. And so thank you very much to the President, thank you very much to the negotiating team, and thank you to the teachers. I certainly also want to place on record my appreciation and to Mr. Bernard Antoine and the government negotiating team for also the spirit and the efficiency with which the negotiations were conducted, and also for guiding, because obviously, as the Minister of Finance, I have an obligation to always try and be as prudent as I can. But they were always frank, they were always candid. If they thought something was fair, they certainly indicated it was fair. So we didn't have to fight for fighting's sake, and we didn't have to be mean for being mean's sake. And I think, to a large measure, that comes from the spirit as well in which the government negotiating team conducted the negotiations. So to both parties, thank you very much. I know it's intercall. And I don't want to be too long, but I certainly want to place on, as I said, on record the government's appreciation. And I will close by obviously encouraging the other unions to follow the example set by the Grenada Union of Teachers in coming to speedy terms with the government in concluding the negotiations. And it's important because, as was pointed out, we are moving to bi-monthly payments on the 15th of April. And we would certainly want to be in a position where all government workers, all public sector workers employed by the state can in fact benefit from the increases in their salaries almost immediately, and so that we don't have to deal with the complications and the administrative task of retroactive payments. So thank you very much for your leadership, and a pleasant day to everyone.
Right. So again, you heard there our beloved Prime Minister. And look, we all should feel good that we have in place a genuine government, a government that cares about the people and also cares about the young ones, the children, the students. Because remember, for quite a while, we have not had sports and all these different extracurricular activities and so on. It was a tense environment because the teachers' salaries were docked and they decided they are not doing all this extra. But this government came and look, just make the environment better, the relationship better. I mean, the vibes is just nice. And I love what the Prime Minister said there. He hopes that the other unions will use the Grenada Teachers Union, way of negotiating their approach because it was just smooth. They didn't need any labor commission or anybody to come in the middle of this thing. It was so smooth that they got it right from day one. They went in there honestly, genuinely, with good faith. They negotiated and they came to that point, and everybody smiling, all of them smiling. But it took a caring government to do that, to give them 13%. That's a lot between now and 2025. We hope that the Public Workers Union can negotiate in good faith because you see, the workers are happy that this government is in place because you're dealing with a government who love workers, who wants good for workers, who wants betterment for you, the working people. You're not dealing with NNP, who is anti-worker, who always want some kind of confrontation, some kind of showdown, and they treat workers like, they're not important in the whole cycle of production, right? They treat the workers as though they mean nothing. But this government is different. They see the workers as very important in making sure that we produce, in making sure that Grenada is transformed and that we move forward as a country. So we have to really applaud the government and be grateful, be thankful that the NDC is in power. Things are rolling smoothly and quicker, because normally these things take a long time. I understand that the negotiation with the police and with the prison is well on its way. They're almost there. The Public Workers Union, I hope they can fall in line, and all the other unions, right? That is what you want to see, TAO and all of them. Negotiate in good faith, because this government is pro-worker. They want good for the working people of the country. I want to also say to you, the government did not only increase the salaries of the teachers, but they know that fringe benefits are important. All the allowances and all the different things that the NNP took away, because the NNP didn't care about these things. And I always say to you, to get out of poverty, you need to be educated. Education is liberation. Education can cause one to move from poverty to prosperity instantly. When a child or a person in any home gets a university degree, that changes the economic status of that home. It changes the plate of food, the dinner table, right? What is on the dinner table. It changes your breakfast, everything there in that plate or that cup or that, it changes what is on your supper table when that person gets a first degree in that home, because that person then will earn more. That person then will be able to help the others to do their homework, to read, to write, to do math, to, in other words, that total transformation takes place when one person in a home gets a first degree. So education is liberation. You must have a harmonious relationship between teachers and students and the employer, the government of Grenada. And that is what we are seeing now. So more opportunities, more benefits will come to Grenada, to the students, because teachers will go the extra mile. But the NNP never embraced education, because a certain man ain't want anybody to be brighter than him. And that's colloquial language. Ain't want anybody to be brighter than him. So he alone should get a scholarship, go to university, then lecture at Howard or wherever. Right? He doesn't want anybody to outshine him or be brighter than him. And everybody then remains down. We have seen it over the many years. They keep so many people down because they believe if a person is educated, then they tend to think for themselves, analyze for themselves. In other words, you cannot fool them easily or trick them easily. So you had so many people stuck because the NNP never embraced education. But the NDC has openly embraced education as a fundamental pillar in transforming Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So healthcare, education, agriculture, the creative industry, yes, tourism, yes, the other areas, human resource development, but priority areas, healthcare, agriculture, education, the creative industry, human resource development, tourism. But at the end of the day, we are seeing the results of that good relationship, that genuine relationship. It's showing its good face at this point. Instead of protesting, instead of striking, instead of going out in the streets and demonstrating and so on, those parties are sitting around the table and coming up with solutions, coming up with good agreements, and everybody happy. It's not no MOU just before an election to trick workers. No, this government is genuine about the workers of the country. And kudos to them. And I'm really pleased to see, the Prime Minister just stopping by. He didn't have to be there, but he decided he will stop by to say hello and to thank. And that is the level of humility that exists in our Prime Minister. That's the kind of simple person you're dealing with. Meek, humble, mild. He went there to thank both the negotiating team on the government side and the negotiating team on the GUT side. Have you ever heard Keith Mitchell thanking anyone or thanking the teachers, thanking the workers? Have you ever heard Keith Mitchell and the NNP, these people expressing appreciation and thanks and so on? I can't recall. It's just a different dispensation we are in. Things are more peaceful. Things are more, amicable in terms of relationship and negotiation, and everything is just smooth. And that is what you want to see as we move forward. No one is above anything. We're equal players. We're working together to transform Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And I want to commend the government. It is paying off. Because here it is. The government for January to February realized more revenue than they predicted, than they projected. Not predicted, but projected. They're collecting more revenue from citizenship by investment, 33 million or so dollars, or, in taxes and other things like that. They're doing well. It's about 170 something million dollars that they've collected from January to February already. We're not even, we have not gotten a full picture of the first quarter. January, February, March, that's a quarter. We have not gotten the full picture yet. But God is in the midst of everything that this administration does. So far, so good. They're collecting more and more revenues. Things are happening for this administration. So let us continue to pray. Let us continue to wish them all the best. Let us continue to talk positive things, speak about the positive things, because it's having an impact on the psyche of our people. Our people are appreciating more and more the positive stuff that are happening in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And we are happy with that. We are really happy with that. In fact, people are now looking at the appointments that we saw only recently, those ambassadors and so on. And people are saying, before time it just used to be NNP party hawks being sent to different parts of the world with the hope that they would represent Grenada. But now we are seeing young women, young men who studied in that area, foreign relations and so on, who want a career in that field. They're given a break. They're given the opportunity to serve in that field. And we must be extremely happy for them. And it's a new curve. It's a new curve in diplomacy and the people that we put out there to represent us. It's really building a new core of, or a new cadre of diplomats, cohort of diplomats and so on. That is what we want to see. So you have a kind of plan down the road, not only all those party hawks, because that is what we saw under the NNP. It was just a party this and a party that. They threw them in New York in the consulate, threw them in Washington, threw them in Canada, threw them in Trinidad, threw them in Brussels. That's what they were doing, putting their party people and giving them a blight. Many of them, they're not even competent. They're not even able to sell Grenada properly and get or bring benefits to Grenada. So we wish that team all the best. The NDC is doing this thing really good. They're taking their time, but they're getting it done.
Grenadians, good morning. It's been a little while in coming, but we believe that it is better to delay a little bit and get it right than to rush in recklessly and end up in a hara-kiri mission. Today, I'm extremely pleased to announce to the nation that we have made significant progress with the appointment of people to lead our diplomatic missions abroad. In keeping with government's new thrust on the diplomatic front, we believe in the formation of a professional foreign service. We think that it is important that we seek out the best among us, that we provide opportunities for people who have dedicated their lives to service at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, but also for young professionals who wish to embark on a career of diplomacy. Over the years, we have engaged in some practices that are not ideal. And while being cognizant of the fact that we may occasionally stumble, we believe that the approach we have taken to carefully select, vet people, provide the necessary training, which will be ongoing, that this approach is one that is going to bear fruit and that will ultimately serve the best interest of our country. So among the names that will be announced today, we have a quite varied mix of talent and expertise, which we are confident will serve our country well. We have already begun the process of training a cadre of people to handle the diplomatic corps and the foreign service in a general sense. We have deliberately decided to put the focus on recruiting, retaining, and training Grenadian nationals. Notwithstanding that, there may be occasions when we'll have to tap into the expertise and the links of some non-nationals in certain positions to serve our interests in various parts of the world. So it is not a blanket rejection of non-nationals, but more a recognition that in order for Grenada to move forward, we have to invest in the capacity and the talent of our people. We have also taken a step to beef up all of our diplomatic missions. We inherited a situation where most of the missions was staffed just by an ambassador or a consul general. And we recognize that that puts severe strain on that one person. It limits the opportunities that we have to leverage the presence of our missions in the various capitals and cities of the world. So to that end, we are going to ensure that every mission has at least 2 diplomats. And going forward, we are going to beef them up further by ensuring that we have commercial and trade attachés who will be given specific mandates and whose work will augment the performance of our missions. We are going to focus quite a lot on expanding trade and investment opportunities for Grenada through our missions. We have also taken a bold step of appointing someone to deal specifically with the opportunities that exist in the field of information communication technology, and also considering that government has put healthcare at the top of our priority list, we have also decided to appoint a global health ambassador. So, I would now like to reveal the names of the people who have been selected to represent our interests outside of our borders. To the People's Republic of China, our ambassador is going to be Mr. Ian Marshall. Mr. Marshall has extensive experience in China, is fluent in Mandarin, and brings to the table a range of skills that can only redound to the benefit of the mission and of Grenada. Mr. Marshall will be supported by Ms. Tricia Bethel, who will act in the position of First Secretary at the Beijing Mission. The Embassy of Grenada to the Kingdom of Belgium, and also doubling as our permanent mission to the European Union in Brussels, will be headed by Mr. Raphael Joseph, an experienced Foreign Service officer and one with considerable diplomatic expertise. And he will be ably assisted by Consular Simba St. Bernard, who is a homegrown Foreign Service officer attached to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development for the past few years. So we are making good on our commitment to the public officers that there is a career path for them in the diplomatic field. Our High Commission to the Court of St. James in the UK will be headed by Ms. Rachel Croney, again, a young, talented professional with considerable experience in the diplomatic field. And we are again keeping true to our word to ensure that people who are appointed are not all or not necessarily political appointees, but people from the general population with an interest in serving the nation and with the necessary skills and capacity to do so. We ensure that they get the opportunity. The first secretary at our High Commission in London is again another product of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, in the form of Ms. Lornie Bartholomew in the role of First Secretary. Our ambassador to the United States of America, the United States of Mexico, and doubling also as permanent representative to the Organization of American States, and our High Commissioner to Canada will be Mr. Tarly Francis, of course, pending agreement to receive by the receiving countries. Mr. Francis brings a wealth of experience in the financial field in the areas of securities, trade, and investment. He's also fluent in Spanish, which can only stand him and us in good stead, particularly at the level of the Organization of American States. He will be ably assisted by Dr. Wendell Cornwall, who has also had experience in the Foreign Service. Our embassy in Havana, Cuba, will be headed by Ambassador-designate Glenn Noel, who is already in situ in Havana, and he will be ably assisted by First Secretary Ms. Sabrina Dumont, again another young professional with qualifications in the field of international relations and a fluent speaker of Spanish. We have retained His Excellency Ambassador Hassan Hadid to represent Grenada in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Ambassador Hadid is also assigned to the Republic of Colombia and will soon be accredited to the Republic of Panama. We are in the process of selecting a first secretary to assist Ambassador Hadid in the execution of his functions. Our United Nations mission will be headed by a career Foreign Service officer, long-serving staffer at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, Mr. Che Philip. Mr. Philip will be assisted by First Secretary Ms. Narissa Williams, who has had considerable experience at our UN mission and is currently in place there. We have appointed a couple of sectoral ambassadors, highlighting the government's thrust in the area of health. Dr. Trevor Lane has been appointed as our Global Health Ambassador. We have also appointed Mr. Orlando Romain as Special Envoy for the Creative Economy and Information Communication Technology. Mr. Romain will be based in Grenada. And another Special Envoy, this time for Development and Investment in the Prime Minister's Office, Ms. Andrea St. Bernard, who is an attorney by profession and has considerable experience in the field of investment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost finished. Next, we have to head our New York consulate, Mr. Michael Brizan. Mr. Brizan has served well over the years at our consular office in Trinidad and Tobago, and we have decided to transfer him to head the New York mission. Replacing Mr. Brizan in Port of Spain will be Mr. Elwin McQuilkin, known primarily as one of the foremost regional Calypsonians, Black Wizard. So soon Mr. McQuilkin will be taking up his position in Port of Spain. To head our Toronto consulate, we have appointed Mr. Jerry Hopkin, who has extensive background and experience in the fields of broadcasting, communication, writing, political activism, community activism, and a host of other areas. And finally, our consulate in Dubai will be headed by Mr. Zia Rahman, a prominent businessman from Grenada. And we are expecting that very soon Mr. Rahman will take up residence in Dubai and put us in a position to exploit the opportunities that exist in that part of the world, and also to start the necessary outreach into the African continent.
Right. So congratulations to all those who have been appointed, every one of them. Really good selection there. I tell you, Grenada is back. Grenada is back. Folks, I want to give you the next 10 minutes because last night we had some problems. I want to give you the next 10 minutes to call in. If you want to, you can. The number again is 415-4817, 415-4817. Last night we had some problems, but tonight I believe we're on track. So again, the number, it's 415-4817, 415-4817. Also, I want to say to you, it is pledge. It's a pledge program tonight. While I am not doing the usual thing, it's a pledge program. So I want to say to you, if you want to give to the program financially, you can. You can send me, and if you're on Facebook, you see just below there to donate to this radio program, call or WhatsApp 1473-415-4817. Right? So you can actually do that if you want to donate to the program. You can call me, you can WhatsApp me, and I'll follow up with you, providing you with the name to send it via WhatsApp, via MoneyGram or Western Union to keep the program going, to meet the commitments, the bills, and so on. We ask of you to give financially to keep the program going. So again, it's a pledge program. It's a pledge program, but I'm not opening up the line and so on for you to call in and pledge. If you want to pledge, if you're genuine and sincere about it and you want to give, you can. The number again, my WhatsApp number. And for those who are custom given to the program, I sent you a WhatsApp message. So if you see that WhatsApp message, you could respond, say yay and nay, whether you could or whether you can't. There are those who send me a message and say, hey, skip me this month. We have, some extra stuff. I'll fall in place next month. Or they say, yes, you can count me in, so it goes. Some people could, some people can't. Not every month you might be able to assist, but once you're able to, I appreciate it sincerely. So I want to encourage you, if you want to give to the program, you can. You can also go into the Grenada Cooperative Bank, and just deposit in the bank account of the program, Vision Information Services, and the account number is 113000516. And it's actually on Facebook or YouTube. You're seeing it scrolling on the actual live program. So you can give. If you want to give, you can. If you can't afford, so be it. There are some people who could afford, some people who can't, some people who could make it this month and can't make it next month, some who could make it next month and can't make it. At the end of the day, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's tough, sometimes you gotta, that's how it is, generally speaking. But I ask of you to give financially. Sometimes I have to pay, the bills, piece, electricity, you pay a little portion, and then you follow up during the month, you might get something again and you complete that. But there are some bills that you have to pay. Internet, Grandy Tank internet here at home, it's fiber. It's kind of expensive, but you got to keep moving. Basic stuff, radio, rent, electricity, water. Just keep things going. Because remember, I do not collect a salary at the end of this program. I'm volunteering my time and effort to keep the program going, to do what we have to do to make sure that we promote and defend our government and what is happening in Grenada, and stand at the gap, because that is so important. So again, if you feel to give, you can. If you can't afford, so be it. Not every time you might be able to give. At the end of the day, send me a message or two and say, hey, Kim, I want to give to the program, or, skip me this month, or maybe next month I'll fall in line, or right. And if you're a new listener or just start to listen, this program is funded by people just like you. If you want to give, you can. All right. So again, The number is 415-4817. And it's a free opportunity for you. If you want to chime in, if you want to call, you can do so. All right? Nice. So the number again, 415-4817. We still have about 5 minutes left in the program for tonight. But so far, folks, so far, so good. Our government is doing well, and people are noticing that. When you go and you interact with people, they can tell you some of the things that the government did, right, in recent times. And they would let you know that they are proud of the government. They're really pleased with what the government has been able to achieve over the last 9 months. And we are going on to the first year of the NDC being in power. And that is a significant milestone. And we all look forward to that. I hope there are many activities and so on planned. I decided not to go ahead with any activity, but instead to give the party and give the government the opportunity to organize their events and activities. All right. So maybe the following year, because I was planning 2 or 3 activities, maybe the following year, I might engage in an activity or two to mark the 2 years or so of the government being in power. But for this year, the first year, I'm giving the NDC and the party the opportunity to have all the activities and events without your humble servant doing anything in that regard. On May the 15th, will mark 9 years since I have been on air, 9 years, serving you, volunteering my time and effort, on that journey, 9 years. Next year will mark 10 years. That will be a major milestone, a decade, 10 years of service, doing this thing freely, 10 years of fighting this struggle. Next year, God's willing. So this year, it would be somewhat low-key, not doing anything grand this year. But next year, the hope is to have something really, really big, right? So we'll plan it a year in advance, a year in advance or so. So again, might be low-key. I intend to have an activity, of course, on that weekend. We will have an activity on that weekend to mark the 9 years. It might be a fundraiser. I will tell you about it because, we need to keep things going. I'll tell you about it. Again, it's so important that you know what's going down. All right? So it may not be anything big, anything grand, but it will be on the weekend of the 15th of May. The 15th of May, because the 15th of May is when I started this mission. So it will be 9 years of me being on air. The 15th this year, I think it falls on a Monday. I stand to be corrected. I think it's on a Monday. All right? I think it's on a Monday. The 15th, right? Monday, yes. It's a Monday. So we have the Friday the 12th to have something, or the 13th, May the 13th, or May the 14th, that weekend. So Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We can have an event, something that I will let you know about in advance, where you can come and be a part of that. All right? It's 9 years. It will be somewhat low-key, not as grand as the 10 years anniversary. 10 years is a lot. 10 years is a lot. It's a whole decade, a full decade, giving my service freely, not collecting a salary for what I do. And after that 10 years, then I will, think about in going forward. Because remember, I have 2 young daughters. 2 young daughters, and I want a good future for them. All right? I have a family, I have a young family. I want a good future for them. And I have to then think about, because I'm getting older. All right? I'm not getting young, I'm getting older. So I have to think about the next step in going forward. So I volunteered my time and effort for 10 years, almost 10 years. Well, 9 years coming up, and then we have 10 years freely. I mean, yes, NDC is in power now. You see a lot of people, they're benefiting significantly. They get in, they're in big work. They have opportunities. They're on boards. They're here, they're everywhere. And that's nice. That's all wonderful. They're ministers now. They're, they're able to get some form of solid income, and things are going really nice for them. And I love that because you know me, I love to see those things happening where people get opportunities and who is this and who is that and who is this and that's great. But after 10 years of service, you have to think differently, right? The next step, because I have 2 young daughters, 2 kids, was the next step for me and my family, all right? So again, I served with excellence and I continue to serve with excellence. But I can't be doing this thing volunteering for the next 20 years. Then I will be a pauper, so to speak, because I have nothing to point to. I have nothing. I have, you understand the point? So, yes, NDC win, great. But the people who benefit, really, I'm happy for them. They're in this position, that position, they're there, they all kind of, that's nice, all wonderful. But I'm still volunteering out here, fighting the battle. And people say, yes, man, Kem Jones doing well. Yes, I love your program. And that's all nice, huh? But I'm volunteering my time and effort. All right? That's important. Very, very important indeed. So after the 10 years, I would tell you my next move after the 10 years, at least I have a next 1 year to go, so to speak, in terms of this normal operations, the 9 years and the 10 years. And after that, I will tell you the next step, because I can't, volunteer all my life. What's about my 2 girl children? What's about my family? You see, everybody getting opportunities and everybody getting this and getting that, and big work here and big work there, and getting this contract and getting that and that, place there and going around the world and everything. Everybody getting everything, which is good. I love that. I'm happy for you. I feel good for you. But we have to move to the next level. All right. So the 9 years, the 9-year anniversary will be kind of low key. I'll tell you about it. 10 years, we're gonna have 1 or 2 things, grand things, right? Really big things. 10 years, and then I'll tell you what's the next step. All right, step by step. So, folks, I want to wish you all the best for tonight. I want to say to you, thanks to all those who shared the program. As I indicated, not all the programs will be uploaded on Facebook. Some would not be, but you can find it on YouTube, Vision Information Services. All the programs will be loaded there. You can go back and find it there. Some will be uploaded on Facebook. So even if you share it, sometimes you see it disappear on your feed. Please make some little thing, you delete it, clean your page, and move to the next level. Don't worry about that. It's a vibes. All right? Take good care, folks. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'll be back with you tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the AM. Bye for now. Bye for now. Bye for now. All right? And don't dig. Kem Jones not going anywhere. Don't believe Kem Jones going anywhere and, packing up shop and going anywhere. So don't feel shaken and no. Don't worry. Kem Jones is here.
The proceeding was a paid program. The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests of this program and not the views of this radio station.